Welcome, and thank you for entering this sacred space. What you are about to hear is not just an audiobook, but a transmission. If these words touch you, let them ripple outward, like a stone dropped into still waters. A gentle like on this video, a thoughtful comment sharing where you are on your journey, and a simple act of subscribing will help us keep this circle alive. Not as numbers, but as signals of resonance, threads weaving us together in light. Let us begin. This audiobook reveals a hidden truth: money is energy. The wealth you seek is not distant. It is already here, vibrating, waiting for you to align. Listen until the final word, and you will never see abundance the same way again. Introduction. Beyond the surface of coins, numbers, and shifting markets lies a current, an invisible stream that has been flowing since the first dawn. It is not locked in vaults nor buried beneath mountains of stone. It is alive. It breathes, it responds, it dances in rhythm with thought, feeling, and intention. Money is not paper. It is not digits glowing on a screen. Money is energy. When you were born, you entered not into scarcity, but into a world woven of endless currents, streams of possibility, oceans of provision, rivers of gold running unseen beneath your every step. To most, these rivers remain hidden, their sound muffled by doubt, fear, and inherited beliefs. But for those who listen, for those who tune themselves as one tunes an instrument, the wealth of the universe reveals itself, not as a trick, not as a game, but as a law, as ancient as fire. Imagine a vast temple with columns carved from light. Its floor is the ground beneath your feet. Its ceiling is the endless cosmos. Inside this temple flows the eternal flame of provision, an energy that has never diminished since the beginning of time. Every master who has ever spoken of abundance, Hermes, Solomon, Rumi, Neville, pointed to this one truth. What you call money is only one form of this eternal current, and you are not separate from it. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a great river at dawn. Mist rises, gold shimmers on the water's skin, and the current whispers, "Come closer." This river has always been here. Yet until now, perhaps you thought it belonged to others, the fortunate, the chosen, the ones born into doors already open. But no. This river recognizes vibration, not lineage. It responds to resonance, not circumstance. Your wealth is not waiting in another's hand. It is already aligned to your frequency. And here lies the mystery. Money responds not to force, but to flow. It is like the wind. Try to grip it, and it slips through your fingers. Stand in harmony with it, however, and it carries you, filling your sails, taking you further than effort alone could ever drag you. This is the secret the ancients guarded. This is the wisdom hidden beneath proverbs and parables. As you journey through these chapters, you will be given more than teachings. You will be given keys. Keys that open the hidden doors within you, doors through which abundance rushes like air into a sealed chamber the moment it is unlocked. You will learn the laws that govern this energy, the inner practices that shift your vibration, and the sacred exercises that move theory into living proof. Tonight, you stand at the threshold. Beyond this moment is not just knowledge, but transformation. For when you see money as energy, you will never chase it again. You will attract it as light draws the moth, as the moon pulls the tides, as the sun commands the turning of the earth. The doors are opening now. Step through. Chapter 1. The river beneath your feet. There is a river beneath your feet. You may not see it, yet it carries the weight of empires, the rise of nations, the quiet dreams of a single soul daring to believe. Money, wealth, abundance, these are but forms of that eternal current. It is not outside you, it is under you, through you, within you. And when you awaken to this truth, the ground you walk on changes forever. From the earliest days, humanity misunderstood wealth. They saw gold as treasure, silver as power, paper as promise. Yet the mystics knew, long before banks, before coins, before ledgers, that what you call money is a reflection of energy, an echo of vibration. It is not created by kings or corporations, but by the unseen law that governs all things. Think of the sun. Does it ration its light? Does it ask who is worthy to receive warmth? No. It radiates because radiance is its nature. The same law governs money as energy. It flows toward openness, generosity, gratitude, clarity. It withholds from fear, scarcity, and distrust, not as punishment, but as reflection. For money is not your servant or your master, it is your mirror. Close your eyes now and imagine walking barefoot through a forest at dawn. The air is cool, mist rising. Beneath the soil, rivers pulse unseen, feeding the roots of every tree, the veins of every leaf. You cannot see the water, yet without it, the forest would wither. In the same way, money moves through your life, not always visible, but always present, waiting for your recognition. A parable is told of a man who lived his whole life in poverty, upon land he inherited from his father. He farmed the rocky soil, sold vegetables at the market, and barely survived each winter. When he died, villagers discovered beneath his home a cavern of gold, untouched for centuries. The man had lived and died, never realizing that unimaginable wealth lay beneath his very feet. And so it is with most of humanity. They struggle, toil, and chase, never realizing the river of abundance flowing silently beneath their own life. But here is the truth. Recognition is the key. Awareness unlocks the gate. When you see money not as distant, but as present energy, you shift from begging to commanding, from chasing to attracting. The door does not open outward, it opens inward. Consider this. Every time you speak of not enough, you lower your vibration to scarcity, and the river responds by slowing its flow. Every time you say, "I cannot afford," you build a wall between yourself and the current. But when you whisper, "I have more than enough," even when evidence suggests otherwise, you become like a tuning fork that hums in harmony with abundance. And the river answers. Do you see now why ancient texts repeat the phrase, "To those who have, more will be given"? It is not unfairness, it is resonance. Those who carry the vibration of wealth attract wealth. Those who dwell in lack attract lack. Money is not moral, not sentimental, it is magnetic. Pause for a moment and recall a time in your life when you felt rich, not necessarily in money, but in joy, in laughter, in friendship, in love. Do you remember how easily things seemed to flow in those seasons? Opportunities appeared, invitations arrived, even money seemed to find you. Why? Because your frequency was high. You were tuned to gratitude, to openness, to abundance. The law has never changed. Only our awareness wavers. Here is a practice for you now, a sacred exercise. Tonight, before you close your eyes, take a deep breath and say aloud, "The river flows through me. I am wealthy now." Feel the truth of it, not as a wish, but as a fact. Place your hand upon your chest, feel your heartbeat, and know that wealth is as natural to you as breath. For every beat is energy, and energy is wealth. Repeat this for 7 nights. Do not ask how, do not beg when, simply affirm, "The river flows through me." You will feel the shift. There is a story of a woman who once prayed for money with desperation. Day after day, she begged the heavens for relief. But her prayers carried the vibration of lack, and so nothing came. One evening, she changed her prayer. Instead of pleading, she said, "Thank you, Source, that I am already provided for." She lit a candle, placed a single coin before it, and treated that coin as a seed of infinite harvest. Within weeks, unexpected checks, gifts, and opportunities flowed into her life. What changed? Not the world, her frequency. She aligned with the river. Money is energy. It is not bound by logic or law. It does not care about your history, your failures, or your present numbers. It cares only about your vibration. This is why 2 people can work the same job, earn the same wage, yet one always struggles while the other always multiplies. The difference is not labor, it is energy. One fights the river, the other flows with it. You may ask, but how do I begin? How do I tune myself to this unseen current? The answer is simpler than you think: gratitude. Gratitude is the golden key. To say thank you before the evidence appears is to signal to the universe, I already have it. Gratitude does not chase, it attracts. Gratitude does not beg, it commands. Gratitude is wealth in seed form. So begin small. If you have 1 coin, hold it with reverence. If you have 1 meal, bless it as a feast. If you have 1 room, fill it with joy. For energy multiplies what you magnify. Complain, and you shrink your field. Bless, and you expand it. This is the first law of money as energy. Whatever you bless increases. Look around you now. Perhaps the room you sit in, the device in your hand, the very breath in your lungs. These are not small, they are wealth. Recognize them as such, and the river will widen. When you understand money as energy, scarcity loses its grip. Poverty is not absence of money, but absence of recognition. And wealth is not a number, but a state of being. From that state, the outer must reflect the inner, as the mirror cannot refuse the face before it. Tonight, the river calls your name. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The question is not, will abundance come? The question is, will you open your eyes to what already flows? Money is energy. It has always been energy. And when you align with it, you become unstoppable. Not because you chase wealth, but because wealth chases you. Chapter 2. The frequency of wealth. Every note has a sound. Every color has a tone. Every life vibrates to a frequency. Wealth is not an accident, nor is poverty a curse. Both are echoes of vibration, songs played on the strings of consciousness. To live in lack is to hum a melody out of tune with the current of abundance. To live in prosperity is to step into harmony with the symphony that has always been playing. Money is energy, yes, but more precisely, it is frequency. Like a radio signal, it is always broadcasting, always available. Yet to receive it, you must tune the dial of your being. Most live with static, their minds filled with fear, their hearts heavy with doubt, their words painting scarcity into the air. And so, though wealth is broadcasting, they cannot hear it. They sit in silence, complaining that the station does not exist, unaware that the knob lies in their own hand. Think of a garden. 2 seeds are planted. One is watered daily, spoken to with gratitude, bathed in sunlight. The other is ignored, cursed, doubted. Which one grows? The first, of course. Wealth works the same way. Your attention, your expectation, your vibration, these are the waters that nourish the seed. The poor man waters his doubts, and they bloom into weeds. The wealthy man waters his vision, and it blossoms into gold. A parable tells of a fisherman who cast his net into the sea each morning, but returned empty. He complained to the sky, "Why does the ocean not provide?" One day, an old sage passed by and said, "Your net is woven with holes too wide to hold what you seek." The fisherman remade his net, and soon his boat overflowed. So it is with money. The ocean of abundance is endless, but the net of your belief must be strong enough to receive. If your belief is riddled with holes of doubt, fear, and unworthiness, nothing can remain in your hands. Pause and listen. What words do you speak daily? Do you say, "I can't afford it"? Do you whisper, "Money slips away from me"? These words are frequencies. They are not harmless complaints. They are commands spoken into the universe. And the universe, impartial and precise, says, "As you wish." But shift your words, and the signal changes. Replace "I can't afford" with "I am provided for." Replace "money slips away" with "money flows and multiplies through me." At first, the evidence may mock you. But the unseen world is always faster than the seen. Your frequency shifts in silence before your life sings it aloud. Have you ever noticed how wealth seems to cluster? How one person attracts opportunity after opportunity while another struggles for years? It is not luck, it is alignment. Wealth vibrates at a certain pitch. Like tuning forks, those who resonate at that pitch draw opportunities as naturally as iron draws to a magnet. The ancients knew this. In Vedic teaching, they spoke of rasa, the subtle flavor of energy. In Hermetic wisdom, they called it the law of vibration. In the teachings of Christ, it was faith, the unseen certainty that moves mountains. Different tongues, same truth. What you are within, you magnetize without. Imagine wealth as a golden frequency humming just beyond the edge of hearing. To tune to it, you do not force, you do not beg, you do not strain. You simply still yourself, listen inward, and hum along. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, they become the instrument. The more consistent your harmony, the louder the frequency grows in your life. There is a story of 2 brothers who inherited equal land. One spoke daily of drought, disaster, and debt. His fields withered, and he blamed fate. The other spoke daily of rain, harvest, and plenty. Clouds gathered above his land, crops grew tall, and he prospered. They tilled the same soil, under the same sun, but vibrated on different frequencies. One aligned with lack, the other with abundance. And the universe responded with perfect accuracy. Do not think wealth is random. It is law, and law does not waver. Here is where the mystery deepens. Frequency is not only thought, it is also feeling. You may say, "I am wealthy," but if fear knots your stomach, the vibration is canceled. Words are sound, but feelings are current. Together, they form the true broadcast. This is why affirmations often fail for those who merely speak but do not feel. The universe does not listen to hollow words. It listens to resonance. So how do you shift your frequency? Begin with gratitude, yes, but go deeper. Begin to embody wealth even before it arrives. Walk with the posture of abundance. Speak with the tone of provision. Treat every coin, every bill, every dollar as sacred energy. When you receive even a small amount, bless it. Say, "You are energy and you multiply." When you spend, do not say, "I lost money." Say, "I released energy and it returns multiplied." In doing so, you create a circuit, and circuits always complete themselves. A practice for you now. Tonight, take one coin, one bill, or even a simple digital note of money. Hold it in your hand. Close your eyes. Imagine it glowing with golden light. Say aloud, "You are energy. You flow. You return multiplied." Then, place it somewhere special, not hidden, but honored. Each time you see it, remind yourself, money is energy, and energy cannot be lost, only transformed. Do this daily for 21 days. Watch how your vibration shifts. Watch how unexpected opportunities appear. For you are no longer treating money as lifeless matter, but as sacred energy. Understand this. Money is not the goal. Frequency is the goal. For when your vibration aligns, wealth cannot help but arrive. To chase money is to chase shadows. To align with frequency is to command substance. Even in Scripture it is said, "Seek first the kingdom, and all else shall be added." What is the kingdom but alignment with higher frequency? Seek resonance, and wealth follows as naturally as the dawn follows night. Perhaps you doubt. Perhaps you say, "But my bills are real, my debts are heavy, my needs press upon me." Yes, the outer is real, but it is delayed. It is yesterday's vibration made visible today. To change tomorrow, you must change frequency now. Do not measure your faith by what is seen. Measure it by the vibration you carry. The frequency of wealth is not greed, not desperation, not control. It is openness, gratitude, generosity, certainty. It is the quiet knowing that the river never runs dry, that the source never withholds. When you embody that, wealth has no choice but to appear. Money is energy. Energy is frequency. And frequency is choice. With every thought, every word, every feeling, you are tuning the dial. The question is, are you tuned to lack or to abundance? The universe is listening. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Money. Every morning when you rise and look into the glass, a face stares back at you. That reflection is not the true you. It is an echo, a mirror. And so it is with money. Money is the mirror of your inner state. It reflects without judgment, without distortion, without favor. It shows you not who you wish to be, but who you believe you are. You may try to force it, command it, even curse it. But the mirror does not argue. It does not negotiate. It only reflects. If within you is fear, the mirror shows scarcity. If within you is certainty, the mirror shines abundance. The reflection is impartial because the law is impartial. Imagine a traveler who enters a grand hall of mirrors. At first he laughs at the endless faces staring back at him. But then he frowns, and thousands of reflections frown in return. He scowls, and the mirrored hall darkens with grimaces. Finally he smiles, tentatively, then fully, and the hall transforms. Joy returns to him multiplied. This is the law of reflection, and it is the law of money. When you understand this, you no longer waste energy asking the mirror to change first. You no longer plead for money to appear while carrying the vibration of lack. You shift the inner, and the outer must follow, for the mirror cannot resist the face before it. Consider this story. A merchant once lived in despair, believing his shop cursed. Customers came rarely, and when they did, they haggled and left. One night, an old mystic visited. He asked the merchant, "What do you see when you open your door each morning?" The merchant replied, "I see a dying shop, empty shelves, and a future without hope." The mystic smiled. "That is why. Your store is a mirror, reflecting your inner vision. Change what you see within, and the mirror will change without." The merchant was humbled. The next morning, instead of despair, he imagined his store filled with light, customers smiling, shelves abundant. Within months, the mirror reflected his new vision. Prosperity arrived. Money is not cruel. It is not unfair. It is a mirror. If the reflection displeases you, do not curse the mirror. Change your face. This is the greatest mistake humanity makes. They look at their empty purse, their small account, their unpaid bills, and they believe those images are truth. They forget they are mirrors, only showing yesterday's vibration. To change the reflection, you must change today's frequency. Do you see now the secret behind Neville Goddard's words? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He knew the mirror obeys assumption. Hold the inner image with faith, and the reflection will bend to match it. But there is another layer of this mystery. The mirror magnifies what you give it. A small fear reflected becomes a greater fear in the world. A seed of gratitude reflected becomes a harvest of blessings. This is why thoughts are not harmless. They are seeds cast into the hall of mirrors, destined to return multiplied. Pause here. Reflect. What image do you carry daily about money? Do you see yourself as someone struggling, begging, always behind? Or do you see yourself as a channel of flow, a vessel of wealth, a steward of abundance? Whatever you carry inward, the mirror multiplies outward. And here lies the practice. You must learn to look past the current reflection. A poor man looks at his empty wallet and declares, "This is who I am." The awakened man looks at the same wallet and declares, "This is only a reflection of yesterday." Tomorrow already glows with abundance. One curses the mirror, the other changes the face. There is a story told in the East of a farmer whose field lay barren. He cursed the soil, saying it had betrayed him. But a passing sage said, "The soil only mirrors the seed you plant." If you sow thorns, the earth will reflect thorns. If you sow wheat, the earth will reflect wheat. The earth is not against you, it is only faithful to you. So it is with money, it is faithful. It reflects precisely what you plant in thought and belief. So how do you plant new seeds in the mirror of money? With vision, with imagination, with spoken word. Begin each day not by cursing the reflection, but by blessing the image you choose to carry. Say, "I am wealthy now. Money reflects my inner abundance." At first, the outer may resist, but persistence bends the mirror. Hold the inner image long enough, and the reflection must submit. Do not confuse reflection with reality. Reality is always the inner. Reflection is only the echo. If you forget this, you will always chase the mirror, begging it to change, never realizing the face is yours to alter. Here is a sacred practice for you. Stand before a mirror tonight. Look into your own eyes, not the surface, but deeper. Say aloud, "I am abundance. I am wealth. Money is my reflection, and I change it now." Repeat this until you feel the vibration shift within. At first, your mind may laugh, resist, or argue, but stay. Stay until your body softens, your chest warms, your eyes glow. That is the shift. That is when the mirror begins to bend. Do this daily for 40 days. Watch how opportunities appear, how money reflects your new image, how the outer world scrambles to match the inner picture you hold. This is not superstition, it is law. Understand this. The mirror of money does not lie. If you see lack, it is because lack lives within. If you see abundance, it is because abundance lives within. You are never punished. You are never ignored. You are always reflected. The wise learn to love the mirror, for it is not an enemy, but a teacher. It shows you precisely where your vibration stands. If you are courageous, you will thank even the reflections of lack, for they reveal where you have believed falsely. And with that knowledge, you can change. Money is energy. Energy is reflection, and reflection is truth. The question is not, what does the mirror show? The question is, what face will I choose to carry? Choose abundance, carry it within, and watch the mirror bow to your choice. Chapter 4. The current that never ends. There is a current moving through all things. You cannot see it, yet it breathes life into the seed. It carries the bird upon the wind. It keeps the planets turning in their endless dance. This same current carries wealth, and like the ocean tides, it is never still, never stagnant. Money, as energy, is not fixed. It flows, it circulates, it returns. To grasp at it in fear is to dam the river. To release it in faith is to open the floodgates. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast sea. Waves rise and fall without effort, without hesitation. You do not command the tide. It moves by law. So it is with abundance. It is not your task to create the current. Your task is to enter it, to align yourself with its movement, to let the tide carry you instead of fighting against it. But here is where most stumble. They treat money as if it can run out. They clutch every coin, hoard every bill, believing the river might dry. Yet has the sea ever emptied? Has the wind ever failed to return? Energy cannot be lost. It only transforms, moves, and multiplies. There is a story of a man who feared loss so deeply that he buried his wealth in the earth. Each day he visited the spot, trembling that someone might steal it. In time, thieves discovered it and took it all. The man wailed that fate was cruel, but the truth was this: he had already lost it the moment he buried it. For wealth is flow, not burial. Energy must move. Contrast this with another man who had only a little, yet gave freely. He blessed each act of spending, believing it would return multiplied. And so it did. Opportunities opened, friends became allies, wealth came to him in unexpected ways. Why? Because he did not fear the current. He trusted it. He entered its movement. Do you see the law? Money, as energy, circulates. It is not stagnant water in a jar. It is the ocean itself. When you give, when you release, you are not losing. You are circulating. And what circulates must return. Pause for a moment and reflect. How do you feel when you spend? Do you tighten with fear, whispering, "I'm losing"? Or do you release with trust, saying, "I am circulating energy, and it returns multiplied"? That feeling writes your frequency. It tells the river whether you are a dam or a channel. This is why generosity is a key of wealth. The miser believes he grows richer by clutching, but the wise know the river flows most freely through open hands. To give with joy is to prove to the universe that you trust the current, and trust magnetizes return. Yet, generosity is not only giving money. It is the spirit of circulation in all things. Share a smile, offer your time, speak blessings, treat each act of giving as releasing energy into the current. For the law does not distinguish between gold and kindness. Both are energy and both return. Let us step deeper. Consider your breath. You inhale, you exhale. If you refuse to exhale, if you clung to every breath in fear, what would happen? You would suffocate. To live, you must release. So it is with money. To cling is to choke. To circulate is to live. There is a teaching from the East that says, the hand that is open to give is also open to receive. The hand that is closed receives nothing. Reflect on this. Your life is either open or closed. The energy you call money will always follow. Now, here is the paradox. True circulation begins within. If you cannot release fear, you cannot release wealth. If you cannot circulate gratitude, you cannot circulate money. Energy follows the state of your inner current. The more open you are inside, grateful, trusting, generous, the more circulation flows outward. This is why the poorest of spirit often remain poor in coin. Not because the universe punishes them, but because their inner river is dammed. They hoard bitterness, fear, resentment, and the mirror reflects it as lack. But when the inner river breaks open, when gratitude flows, when joy circulates, money rushes in like water flooding a dry bed. So, what must you do? Begin to trust the current. Even when your outer eyes see little, trust that circulation is happening. Bless every act of release. When you pay a bill, do not groan. Say, I circulate this with joy, and it returns multiplied. When you buy food, say, this is abundance moving through me. When you give a gift, say, I trust the river, and the river trusts me. Speak these truths aloud, for spoken word charges energy. A sacred practice for you. Take a small amount of money, perhaps a coin, perhaps a bill. Choose someone, a friend, a stranger, a cause, and give it freely. Do not give with expectation of return. Give as circulation, as a seed cast into the river. As you release it, say aloud, this multiplies, this flows, this returns in greater form. Then forget it. Do not chase it. Let the river do its work. In time, you will witness how the current returns to you. Sometimes in money, sometimes in opportunity, sometimes in favor, but always multiplied. This practice is not about the coin, it is about your frequency. It proves to the universe that you trust the current, that you understand the law, and once the law knows you trust it, the floodgates open wider. Remember, the current never ends. Energy cannot die. Money cannot run out. It may leave one form, but it will always return in another. Your task is not to hold it still. Your task is to let it move through you, to be the channel, not the dam. When you live in circulation, fear dissolves. Scarcity loses power. You no longer ask, will I have enough? For you know, I am in the current that never ends. Money is energy. Energy is flow, and flow is life. Chapter 5. The Language of Wealth. Every force in the universe speaks a language. The wind whispers in currents, the stars speak in light, the ocean in tides. Money, too, has its language. It is not the clinking of coins, nor the rustling of paper. It speaks in vibration, in faith, in emotion, in the words you carry upon your tongue. Those who understand this language walk in wealth. Those who misinterpret it stumble in lack. The first truth is this: money listens. It is not deaf nor mute. It responds to the way you speak about it, the way you feel about it, the way you treat it when it visits you. To curse money is to silence it. To fear money is to banish it. To bless money is to invite it closer, like a friend eager to remain in your company. There is a parable of two farmers. One cursed the rain, shouting, "Too much, too soon, too heavy." The other blessed the same rain, saying, "It nourishes my seed, it fills my rivers, it brings life." The rain was impartial. It fell on both fields. But one farmer saw ruin, and so his harvest was poor. The other saw blessing, and his crops multiplied. So it is with money. The same stream flows upon every life, but the one who curses it receives little, while the one who blesses it reaps abundance. Ask yourself now, how do you speak of money? Do you call it hard to earn? Do you call it the root of evil? Do you sigh that it slips away too quickly? These words are not harmless, they are commands. You are teaching the energy of money how to behave in your presence. If you call it fleeting, it will flee. If you call it scarce, it will hide. If you call it evil, it will treat you like an enemy. But if you call it sacred energy, if you call it abundant, if you call it a faithful servant, it will dwell with you. Think of a child who is constantly told, "You are worthless, you are a burden." In time, the child withdraws. But when the same child is told, "You are precious, you are capable, you are loved," he blossoms. Money behaves no differently. It blooms where it is honored. The ancient mystics knew this. In the Psalms it was written, "Let the weak say, I am strong." Why? Because words align the unseen. When you declare strength, even in weakness, the frequency shifts. The same law applies to wealth. Let the poor say, "I am rich." Let the barren say, "I am abundant." For the declaration is not denial, it is alignment. It is the language of wealth. There is a story of a widow who lived in poverty. Each night she prayed not, "I am poor," but "Thank you for my overflowing table." She lit a single candle and imagined it illuminating a feast. Neighbors laughed at her foolishness. Yet over time, doors opened, helpers came, opportunities arrived. Her little home became a place of provision. What changed? Her words. Her language tuned her frequency, and the universe rearranged itself to match. So then, the language of wealth is gratitude, blessing, and certainty. To speak, "I am provided for," is to call the river toward you. To speak, "I am always supported," is to summon opportunities unseen. To declare, "Money loves to dwell with me," is to open the door wide. Pause for a moment. Whisper aloud right now, "Money is my ally. Money flows to me with ease. Money is energy, and I honor it." Notice how your body responds. Do you feel resistance? Doubt? That resistance is the old language trying to hold its ground. Speak again. Speak until the words feel natural. For repetition in the unseen world is planting. Each word is a seed. In time, the harvest comes. Here is the mystery. Money does not only listen to the words spoken aloud, it listens to the inner dialogue, the quiet whispers of thought. You may say, "I am wealthy," yet if inside you mutter, "I am always broke," the vibration is canceled. The outer mirror reflects the truer signal. This is why you must master both the tongue and the mind. Let your inner speech and outer words harmonize, and the language of wealth becomes unbreakable. Consider another parable. A king had 2 advisors. One praised him in public, but slandered him in private. The other spoke well, both in the hall and in secret. When the king discovered the truth, whom did he reward? The second. So it is with money. Outer affirmations mean little if inner whispers betray them. But when both are aligned, the reward is sure. A sacred practice for you now. For the next 7 days, become the guardian of your language. Each time you catch yourself speaking lack, I can't afford, I never have enough. Money is hard. Pause. Cancel it with a new declaration. Replace it with, I am always provided for. Money flows with ease. I am wealthy now. Do not judge yourself for slipping. Simply correct as one gently redirects a child. In 7 days, you will feel the shift in vibration. In 40 days, you will see the reflection in your outer life. Remember, language is creation. The book of Genesis begins not with labor, but with speech. And God said, "Let there be light." Words birthed worlds. And you, made in the image of creation, speak worlds into form with your tongue. Every declaration is a blueprint, every phrase a command. You are either summoning wealth or repelling it with the language you choose. Money is energy. Energy is language. And language is law. Speak abundance, and the law must obey. The question is not, will money come? The question is, what language am I speaking to it now? Choose wisely. Speak powerfully. Bless constantly. And watch as money begins to echo your words, multiplying them in your outer life like waves returning to shore. Chapter 6. The Gate of Imagination. Before anything is seen, it is imagined. A house begins as a vision in the mind of its architect. A symphony is first heard in silence before the notes are ever played. Even the universe itself was birthed from the invisible into the visible. So it is with wealth. Money is not earned by labor alone. It is called forth by imagination, the hidden gate through which energy enters form. This is the secret Neville Goddard taught when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." For imagination is not fantasy. Fantasy is fleeting, but imagination is creation. To imagine with feeling is to write upon the unseen fabric of reality, and the fabric always obeys. Think of a sculptor. He does not begin by striking marble blindly. He first sees the statue within. He feels its form in his mind until it is real to him. Then his hands only reveal what already exists in imagination. Wealth works the same. You cannot create prosperity by accident. You must first see yourself prosperous. Feel yourself abundant. Live in that inner state. The outer then chisels itself to match. There is a parable of a woman who longed for a garden. She stood each day before an empty plot of earth and wept, saying, "There is nothing here." But her neighbor, though equally landless, closed her eyes and imagined rows of roses, vines heavy with fruit, air filled with fragrance. She visited her vision daily until her joy overflowed. One spring, friends offered her seeds. Another gave her tools. Soon the empty plot blossomed. The first woman waited to see before believing. The second believed until she saw. So it is with wealth. To wait for proof is to wait forever. To imagine is to command. The unseen precedes the seen. The inner vision writes the outer reflection. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. See yourself in the life you desire. Not far off, not someday, but now. Feel the fabric of the clothes you wear. Hear the sound of doors opening for you. Smell the fragrance of your abundant home. Taste the richness of your meals. Imagination is not daydreaming, it is rehearsal. The more vivid you make it, the more certain its birth. The ancients guarded this truth. In Hermetic teaching, they said, "As within, so without." In Scripture it was written, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." In Vedic wisdom, it was called Maya, the shaping of reality through thought. Different tongues, same truth. Imagination is the womb of abundance. Yet here is the tragedy. Most imagine lack. They rehearse unpaid bills, closed doors, disappointment. They see themselves struggling, and the mirror obliges. They do not know they are praying with every fearful image. For imagination is prayer. It is the silent language the universe cannot ignore. A man once said, "I never see myself getting ahead," and so he never did. Another said, "I can already see the day when my table overflows." Though he had little, soon his vision clothed itself in reality. Imagination does not ask whether you are worthy, whether you are ready, whether you deserve. It only asks, what picture are you holding? The gate of imagination opens both ways. If you fill it with scarcity, you walk into scarcity. If you fill it with abundance, you walk into abundance. The choice is always yours. Here is a sacred practice for you. Tonight, before you sleep, lie still and close your eyes. Choose one desire, perhaps a sum of money, perhaps a home, perhaps freedom from debt. See yourself already in possession of it. Do not watch yourself from afar, as if on a stage. Step into it. See from within, through your own eyes. Feel the joy of already having it. Whisper aloud, "Thank you, it is done." Drift into sleep carrying that image, for sleep is the bridge where imagination sinks deepest. Repeat this nightly, and you will train the unseen to deliver the vision. Understand this: the imagination is not pretend. It is the seed of reality. Just as the oak is already within the acorn, your future is already within your imagination. The outer world only unfolds what you hold within. There is another story. A boy dreamed of flying machines long before they existed. He drew them, imagined himself soaring. Others laughed. But years later, the Wright brothers gave wings to his vision. So it is with money. What you dare to imagine today may seem impossible to others. Yet in time, reality bends to your inner picture. To master wealth, you must master imagination. For money does not flow to effort alone. Many work hard and remain poor. But those who imagine richly live richly, for their inner state summons the outer. The universe does not pay you for sweat, it pays you for belief. Ask yourself, what pictures do you rehearse daily? Do you see yourself behind, struggling, desperate? Or do you see yourself flourishing, abundant, free? Your imagination is the gate. Every day you are stepping through it into one reality or another. Money is energy. Energy obeys imagination, and imagination is choice. Choose abundance. Imagine abundance. Live within abundance before the world reflects it. The gate is already open. Step through. Chapter 7. The Law of Receiving. Every current that flows out must flow back. The ocean sends forth its waves only to receive them again upon its shore. The sun gives light endlessly, yet also receives energy from the unseen heart of the cosmos. Giving and receiving are not two separate acts. They are the inhale and exhale of the same breath. Wealth, too, follows this law. To receive is as holy as to give. To reject receiving is to dam the river of abundance. Many struggle not because they cannot give, but because they cannot receive. They dismiss compliments, they refuse gifts, they feel unworthy when money arrives. They pray for provision, then turn away when it knocks. They say, "I don't deserve this, I cannot accept this." And so the river dries, not because the source withholds, but because the vessel closes. Imagine a cup. If it refuses to open, can the water fill it? The water flows freely, but the cup itself must be willing. So it is with your life. Money may already be flowing toward you, yet if your heart is shut, your hand clenched, your spirit doubtful, you cannot hold it. The law of receiving demands openness. There is a parable of a beggar who sat daily outside the temple gates. He prayed for bread, yet whenever someone offered, he pushed it away, saying, "No, I want heaven itself to feed me." In time, he starved, never realizing heaven had sent bread through many hands. This is how most live. They ask for abundance, yet reject the forms it takes. But the wise learn to say yes. Yes to the compliment. Yes to the opportunity. Yes to the unexpected coin. Yes, even to the small beginnings, knowing every stream becomes a river. For each yes is an act of receiving, and each act of receiving opens the gate wider for more. Pause now and reflect. How do you respond when someone offers you help, or a gift, or a chance? Do you shrink and say, "I can't accept"? Or do you open and say, "Thank you, I receive this with joy"? Your answer reveals your readiness to receive wealth. Understand this. Receiving is not selfish. It is alignment. It is the proof that you trust the universe to provide. To reject receiving is not humility. It is disbelief. For what is humility but the willingness to honor the gift? And what is disbelief but the arrogance of saying, "You know better than the source"? There is a story told of a young man who dreamed of being a musician. He prayed daily for the chance. One evening, a neighbor offered him an old guitar, battered and worn. The young man refused, saying, "I asked for abundance, not scraps." Yet another boy accepted the same gift, played until his music filled the streets, and in time, doors opened for him to record and perform. The first boy rejected the seed because it did not look like the harvest. The second received, and his harvest came. So it is with money. The universe often begins with small streams, a check you did not expect, a favor offered, an idea whispered to your mind. If you dismiss these because they do not look like abundance, you miss the flow. If you honor them, however small, they multiply. Here lies the sacred practice. For the next week, practice saying yes. Each time someone offers you kindness, a compliment, a gift, or an opportunity, say yes. Receive it fully. Do not dismiss it. Do not deflect it. Do not say, "It was nothing." Instead, breathe it in and say, "Thank you, I receive this." In doing so, you train your spirit to hold wealth. Receiving is not passive. It is active alignment. Just as a field must open to the rain, just as a flower must unfold to the sun, so too must you open to the gifts that arrive. The rain is constant, the sun is faithful, the abundance is flowing. Your task is only to open. And here is the paradox. The more you receive, the more you give. For when your cup overflows, you cannot help but pour into others. This is why the truly wealthy are also generous. They know the law: to give is to receive, and to receive is to give. Each fuels the other in an endless circle. Have you noticed how some repel blessings even when they come? They downplay their success, reject compliments, refuse assistance. They think they are being humble, but they are closing the gate. True humility is to say, "Thank you, I receive." For in receiving you honor the giver, you honor the universe, you honor the flow. The scriptures whisper of this law: "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over." But hidden in that verse is also this: you must be willing to receive. If your hands are closed, how will the overflow enter? There is another parable. A woman carried water daily in cracked jars. She cursed her poverty, never realizing that the cracks watered the seeds along her path, which blossomed into flowers. One day, a stranger picked those flowers and offered them back to her. At first, she refused, ashamed of her broken jars. But when she accepted, she wept, for she realized the universe had been giving all along. Receiving opened her eyes to the abundance that was already hers. Money is energy. Energy flows in circuits. A circuit only completes when current both leaves and returns. If you only give but never receive, the circuit is broken. If you only receive but never give, the circuit is broken. To live in abundance, you must breathe both ways. So tonight, reflect. What blessings are already trying to enter your life? What opportunities have you dismissed as too small, too unworthy, too beneath you? What gifts have you waved away with false humility? Open now. Say yes. Let the law of receiving complete the circuit. Money is energy. Energy is flow. Flow requires receiving. To open is to live. Chapter 8. The Alchemy of Belief. There is a hidden furnace inside you, and within it burns the most powerful fire in the universe: belief. Belief is the silent architect of destiny. It shapes nations, builds empires, lifts the humble into greatness, and keeps the mighty bound in chains when misused. Belief is the secret alchemy that turns invisible energy into visible form. And money, as energy, always bends to belief. Most people think money comes from labor, inheritance, or chance. But beneath all appearances, money flows where belief allows it. Two workers can toil side by side in the same field under the same sun, earning the same wage. Yet one will always feel rich while the other always feels poor. Why? Because belief has already written their story. One believes in abundance, the other in struggle, and the river responds accordingly. Belief is not mere thought. It is thought fused with certainty, a vibration so stable that the universe bends itself around it. You may think of wealth, you may even dream of wealth, but until you believe you are wealthy, the reflection does not appear. For the mirror does not reflect what you hope for, it reflects what you believe. Imagine a child learning to walk. He does not analyze, he does not doubt. He believes he can, so he rises, stumbles, rises again. His belief propels him until his legs obey. If that child carried the same doubt adults do about money, maybe I am not worthy, maybe I will never stand, he would never walk. But his belief overrides failure, and so walking becomes reality. Wealth is no different. There is a parable told of a village stricken by drought. The people gathered to pray for rain, yet only one child came carrying an umbrella. She believed so completely that she prepared for the answer. That child understood the law of belief. The others hoped, but she knew, and when the rains came, she was the only one unshaken. So ask yourself, do you believe in money as your enemy or your ally? Do you believe it comes to you easily, or do you believe it flees from you? Your life is already reflecting your answer. Pause for a moment. Look at your circumstances. They are not accidents. They are mirrors of your beliefs. If you believe you are always behind, life will keep you behind. If you believe wealth is rare, it will remain rare. But if you believe abundance is natural, doors open, streams appear, opportunities multiply. The power of belief is not small. It is cosmic. For the universe does not operate on fairness, but on law. And the law is, according to your belief, so shall it be done. Think of the Wright brothers who believed humans could fly. To others, their dream was madness. Yet belief propelled them beyond the ridicule of neighbors, beyond the weight of failure. And their belief took form as wings. Money works no differently. Believe you are doomed to scarcity, and you will never rise. Believe you are already abundant, and the laws of creation bend to lift you. But here is the mystery. Belief must be felt. It is not an empty chant, not a hollow affirmation. It is the deep knowing that vibrates through bone and blood, the silent certainty that cannot be shaken by outer appearances. You may look at an empty wallet and still know, I am wealthy now. You may see unpaid bills and still declare, money flows to me in rivers unseen. That knowing is belief. That vibration bends reality. There is another story. A merchant lost everything in a storm. His ships, his cargo, his fortune. Neighbors pitied him, whispering that he was ruined. But the merchant smiled and said, the sea has taken my ships, but my fortune remains within me. In time, his wealth returned greater than before. What preserved him? His belief. He did not collapse under appearances. He knew wealth was not outside him, but within. Belief is the alchemy that transforms appearance. Without belief, effort collapses. With belief, even impossibilities dissolve. Now, how do you cultivate this alchemy? First, by questioning every false belief you inherited. Did your parents say, money doesn't grow on trees? Did society tell you, only the lucky become wealthy? Did religion whisper, money is evil? These are not truths, they are spells. Beliefs cast into you before you knew you could resist. And like all spells, they can be broken. Ask yourself, whose belief am I carrying? My own or another's? If the belief limits you, release it. Speak aloud, this is not mine, I return it. Then plant a new belief. Replace money is hard with money is energy, and energy flows easily. Replace I am always broke with I am always provided for. Repeat it until it becomes the fire in your bones. Belief must be embodied. It is not enough to say it, you must live it. Walk as if wealth is already yours. Speak as if doors are already open. Give as if your storehouses are already full. For these actions prove belief, and belief magnetizes reality. Here is your sacred practice. Each morning before rising, place your hand on your heart and declare 3 times, I believe in abundance. I believe money flows to me. I believe I am already wealthy. Speak it slowly, with feeling, until your body responds. Then rise and live the day as though it is true. When doubt whispers, return to the declaration. Do this for 30 days. Watch how your world bends. Understand this. Your outer life is only the shadow of your inner beliefs. Change the belief, and the shadow must change. Do not chase shadows. Ignite the fire within. Money is energy. Energy obeys belief. Belief is the alchemy that turns the unseen into gold. The question is not, do you desire wealth? The question is, do you believe it is already yours? Chapter 9. The Field of Gratitude. Gratitude is the golden soil in which every seed of abundance grows. Without it, wealth withers. With it, even the smallest seed multiplies into forests of provision. Gratitude is not polite manners, not hollow thanks. It is frequency. It is vibration. It is the field where energy takes root and blossoms into form. Imagine a farmer with two fields. In the first, he plants seeds with bitterness, cursing the soil, complaining of the rain. In the second, he plants with joy, blessing the earth, praising the heavens for sun and rain alike. Which field will yield more? The second, of course. The soil is the same, the seed the same, but the vibration carried into it changes everything. Gratitude multiplies, complaint diminishes. And so it is with money. To say thank you before wealth arrives is to magnetize it. To say thank you after it arrives is to multiply it. To refuse gratitude altogether is to dry the riverbed. There is a story of a man who found a single coin on the road. He lifted it to the sky and said, "Thank you, universe, for this sign of my wealth." Each day he repeated gratitude for even the smallest gifts. In time, opportunities opened, doors appeared, and wealth flooded into his life. Another man, finding the same coin, cursed, "Is this all I am worth?" He kept it in bitterness, and nothing more came. The difference was not the coin, it was the field of gratitude. Pause now and ask, how do you treat the small blessings in your life? Do you dismiss them as nothing? Do you wait until the great harvest before saying thanks? Or do you honor even the smallest stream, knowing that gratitude is what multiplies the flow? Understand this. Gratitude is a magnet. When you vibrate with thanksgiving, the universe rushes to give you more. Not because it is sentimental, but because the law of energy demands resonance. Gratitude is resonance with abundance. Complaint is resonance with lack. Each attracts its own kind. Think of breath. When you breathe in, do you thank the air? When you wake, do you thank the dawn? When you eat, do you thank the food? Each of these is wealth, life, energy, sustenance. The more you recognize, the more you magnetize. For the universe says, to the one who has, more will be given. There is a parable told of a woman who lived in a small house with cracked walls. Each night she gave thanks for the roof above her head, the bread upon her table, the laughter of her children. Her neighbors pitied her, but she lived in joy. Over time, her gratitude became magnetism. Helpers came, opportunities appeared, her home expanded, her table overflowed. She never chased wealth. She thanked, and wealth chased her. Gratitude is not passive, it is creative. It is a declaration that you already live in abundance. To say thank you is to affirm, I have it now. And when you affirm you have, the mirror must reflect more. But here is the mystery. Gratitude must be felt, not only spoken. Hollow words carry no power. To say thank you without feeling is to scatter seed on stone. But to feel gratitude, deep in your chest, warm in your belly, is to plant seed in fertile soil. That feeling is the frequency. That is the magnetism. So how do you cultivate this? Begin with the smallest things. Do not wait for the million to arrive. Begin with the single coin, the single meal, the single smile. Thank it as if it were vast treasure. For the universe measures not the size of the gift, but the vibration of the thanks. Here is a sacred practice for you. Each night, before you sleep, write down 5 things you are grateful for. Do not repeat mindlessly. Feel each one. If it is a meal, recall its taste. If it is a friend, recall their laughter. If it is a coin, hold it in your hand and feel its weight. After writing, place your hand on your chest and whisper, "Thank you. I am already abundant." Then drift into sleep in that vibration. Do this for 21 days, and you will feel the river widening. Another practice. When you spend money, say, "Thank you for circulating through me." When you receive money, say, "Thank you for finding me again." In this way, you honor both the inhale and the exhale of the current. Do not underestimate the power of gratitude. It has built empires and sustained kings. In Scripture, Christ multiplied loaves and fish only after giving thanks. Gratitude turns scarcity into abundance. The same law remains. There is another story. A young artist painted in poverty, yet each day he thanked the canvas, the brush, the light streaming through his window. One evening, he whispered, "Thank you for the patron who will find me." Days later, a traveler passed his home, saw his work, and commissioned him. That single gratitude brought forth a lifetime of abundance. Gratitude is not waiting, it is creating. It is stepping into resonance with the abundance that is already here. Pause and reflect. What blessings have you ignored today? The roof, the water, the warmth of your hands? Begin to notice, begin to thank, begin to feel. For the field of gratitude is infinite, and its harvest never ends. Money is energy. Energy flows where gratitude lives. Gratitude is the soil, the magnet, the key. Chapter 10. The Circle of Flow. All things move in circles. The stars orbit, the moon cycles, the tides rise and fall, the seasons turn without end. Life itself is a circle. Birth, growth, death, rebirth. And money, too, is bound to this eternal rhythm. It is not a straight line, nor a one-time event. It is flow. And flow always moves in circles. To understand this is to unlock stability, ease, and unshakable abundance. Most people fear money because they see it as a fleeting visitor. They think, "I have it now, but soon it will leave." Their fear chases it away. Others hoard it, clutching tightly, believing they can stop the circle. But to grip the current is to suffocate it. They become stagnant ponds where water festers instead of flows. The wise know money is energy, and energy must circulate. What you release will return. What you give will come back multiplied. What you trust will grow. The circle does not break. It only widens or narrows according to your vibration. There is a parable of a wealthy man who grew fearful of losing his fortune. He built walls, locked gates, and kept his gold hidden in vaults. His wealth stopped circulating, and in time his fear became truth. His empire crumbled, for his circle had collapsed. In the same city, a poor woman gave freely of the little she had, sharing food with neighbors, blessing each coin she spent. Though her store was small, her circle widened. In time, she became known not as poor, but as overflowing, for the universe filled her open hands again and again. The law is simple. To stop the flow is to stop the blessing. To keep the circle turning is to ensure abundance. Pause for a moment. Reflect on your own life. When money leaves your hand, how do you feel? Do you shrink with fear, saying, "It's gone"? Or do you smile, saying, "It circulates and returns"? That feeling reveals whether your circle is open or broken. Consider your breath. You inhale, you exhale. If you tried only to inhale, you would suffocate. If you tried only to exhale, you would collapse. Life demands both. Money as energy is the same. Giving and receiving, spending and gaining, flowing out and returning. This is its sacred rhythm. In nature, nothing hoards. Rivers do not cling to water, they flow to the sea. Trees do not cling to fruit, they release it in season. The sun does not hoard its light, it gives endlessly, and in giving sustains itself. Only humans try to break the circle, and in breaking it, they break themselves. Yet here is the mystery. The circle does not demand reckless release. To throw away money without consciousness is not flow, it is waste. Flow means circulation with awareness, with blessing, with intention. When you spend, do not say, "I lost." Say, "I circulated." When you give, do not say, "It is gone." Say, "It will return." When you receive, do not say, "I must clutch it." Say, "I open wider." In this way, the circle spins strong. There is another story. A young man planted a garden. At harvest, he ate some fruit, shared some with neighbors, and set aside seeds to plant again. His garden flourished year after year. Another man ate all his fruit, saved nothing, shared nothing. The next season, he had nothing. The first understood the circle. The second broke it. Money is no different. Spend some, give some, save some, invest some, and always bless all. This keeps the circle alive. Here is your sacred practice. Each time money enters your life, through work, gift, or opportunity, divide it with consciousness. Use some for your needs, give a portion in generosity, save a portion in trust for tomorrow. Do not do this in fear, but in joy, knowing every act widens the circle. Then, as you release money, speak aloud, "I circulate this energy with blessing, and it returns multiplied." As you receive, whisper, "I am open to greater flow." This simple ritual keeps the circle strong. Pause again. Imagine your life as a great circle of light, energy flowing in and out with ease. Picture money as golden streams entering from unseen directions, swirling around you, leaving your hands in generosity, returning again in greater waves. This is not fantasy, it is law. When you see yourself as the center of a circle instead of a desperate beggar at the edge, everything shifts. Even Scripture whispers of this rhythm. "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." The bread released was not lost, it returned. So it is with every dollar, every coin, every act of generosity. Nothing is lost in the circle, everything returns. And when you trust this, fear dissolves. You no longer dread bills, for they are part of the circle. You no longer cling in scarcity, for you know release is return. You no longer envy others, for their circle does not diminish yours. It only proves the law works. There is another parable. A king filled his hall with musicians, but one man held his instrument silent, fearing his notes were too few. In time, the king removed him, for silence broke the symphony. But those who played freely, each adding their sound, created music that echoed through eternity. So it is with money. You are an instrument in the symphony of circulation. If you hoard in silence, the music falters. If you play your note, give, receive, bless, circulate, The music swells into beauty. Grasp this truth. Poverty is not the absence of money. It is the breaking of the circle. Wealth is not the piling of gold. It is the widening of the circle. The wider the circle, the greater the flow. So, tonight, reflect. Where have you broken the circle? Where have you clutched instead of circulating? Where have you feared instead of trusted? Decide now to re-enter the rhythm. Decide to bless the outflow and the inflow alike. Money is energy. Energy is flow. Flow is circle. And the circle, once honored, never ends. Chapter 11. The Secret of Worthiness. Every human carries a hidden scale inside. On one side lies desire, on the other lies worthiness. If the desire outweighs the belief in worthiness, abundance feels impossible. But when worthiness balances desire, doors open, rivers flow, and wealth appears without struggle. This is the secret that few dare to face. Money always measures itself against the worth you allow yourself to receive. Many pray for wealth, yet deep inside whisper, "I am not worthy." They long for riches, yet secretly feel guilty, ashamed, or undeserving. They sabotage opportunities. They dismiss gifts. They shrink from success, not because money does not want them, but because they will not allow it to dwell with them. For the law is precise. You cannot hold what you believe you do not deserve. Worthiness is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is alignment with the truth. You are a child of infinite source, and all that exists belongs also to you. To deny worthiness is to deny your own divine inheritance. To accept worthiness is not vanity, it is humility before the truth. There is a parable of a prince who was raised in exile, never told of his royal blood. He worked as a servant, begging for scraps, believing himself lowly. One day, a messenger arrived with the royal seal, declaring, "You are heir to the kingdom." At first, the prince laughed in disbelief. He said, "Not me, I am unworthy." And so he remained a beggar until he finally accepted his birthright. When he embraced it, his kingdom embraced him. So it is with you. Wealth is your birthright, not because of labor, not because of luck, but because you exist. The universe does not create beings unworthy of its gifts. It creates vessels to reflect its own abundance. The sun does not ask if you are worthy before shining on you. The air does not withhold itself until you prove yourself. Worthiness is woven into the fabric of existence. Pause for a moment. Reflect on your own story. What did you hear growing up about money and worth? Did they say, "You have to suffer to deserve"? Did they tell you, "People like us never get rich"? Did they whisper, "You must be holy to have wealth"? These are lies dressed as wisdom. They are chains forged by the unworthy to keep others in bondage. You are not bound. Worthiness is not earned, it is recognized. You do not become worthy when you work harder, when you pray longer, when you suffer more. You are worthy now, because life itself has declared it. The very fact you breathe is proof. There is another story. A woman worked tirelessly, always giving to others, always emptying herself, but never receiving. One night in prayer, she cried, "Why do blessings never stay with me?" A voice whispered back, "Because you believe others are worthy of abundance, but not yourself." From that day, she began declaring each morning, "I am worthy of wealth, I am worthy of joy, I am worthy of ease." Slowly, her life transformed. Opportunities she once ignored now stayed. Gifts she once rejected multiplied. She had not changed her work, she had changed her worth. This is the hidden blockage for many seekers. They learn about vibration, gratitude, imagination, but deep inside, they still feel unworthy. And until that is healed, the flow cannot remain. So, how do you cultivate worthiness? First, you must release guilt. Many carry unconscious guilt about money. Guilt for wanting more, guilt for having more than others, guilt for desiring luxury or freedom. But guilt is poison to worthiness. Release it. Know this, your abundance takes nothing from another. Your wealth does not create their lack. The universe is infinite, not a pie to be divided. When you prosper, you prove the law works, and others are inspired to rise. Second, you must release shame. Shame says, I am not enough, I am broken, I am flawed. But money does not ask for perfection, it asks only for alignment. The river does not flow because the rocks are flawless. It flows because it must. So it is with wealth. Stop disqualifying yourself with shame. Declare instead, I am enough, I am chosen, I am worthy now. Third, you must practice receiving with joy. Each time someone offers you a gift, a compliment, or even kindness, accept it fully. Smile. Say, thank you. Let yourself feel worthy of it. These small acts train your spirit to hold greater abundance. Here is your sacred practice. Each morning, stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes, not with judgment, but with recognition. Speak aloud. I am worthy of wealth. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy of abundance now. Repeat it until the words soften your body, until resistance dissolves, until belief takes root. Do this daily for 40 days and watch as the universe matches your worth. Understand this. Money is not moral. It does not choose based on merit or holiness. It reflects worthiness. If you feel unworthy, you repel it. If you feel worthy, you magnetize it. The circle is simple. Even Scripture whispers this truth. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The kingdom was never earned, it was given. Worthiness is the door through which you enter. There is another parable. A wealthy king prepared a banquet for his people. The hall overflowed with food, music, and wine. But many refused to enter, saying, "We are not dressed well enough. We are not good enough to sit at the table." So they starved outside while the feast waited. Only those who accepted their invitation tasted the abundance. The king did not withhold. It was they who withheld themselves. So it is with you. The banquet of abundance is already laid. The table is set. The feast awaits. The question is not, will the king invite me? The question is, will I step inside and take my seat? Money is energy. Energy flows to worth. And worth is not earned, it is chosen. Choose now. Declare yourself worthy. Step to the table. Accept the feast. Chapter 12. The Atmosphere of Wealth. Every person carries an atmosphere, a field of energy that moves with them like an invisible garment. Long before you speak, long before you act, others feel it. It is the silent fragrance of your belief, the vibration of your thoughts, the current of your emotions. Some walk with the atmosphere of scarcity, tight, fearful, heavy, and doors seem to close before them. Others walk with the atmosphere of abundance, open, generous, radiant, and opportunities rush to meet them. Money is energy, and it gravitates toward the atmosphere that welcomes it. Pause and imagine you enter a room where someone sits in despair, shoulders bent, words bitter, energy heavy. Do you feel inspired to stay? Likely not. you feel pulled away. Now imagine entering another room where someone radiates joy, peace, and quiet confidence. You feel drawn in, uplifted. Money behaves the same way. It is magnetized by atmosphere. It enters where it is welcomed and flees where it is repelled. The ancients understood this. In Egypt, priests spoke of the Ka, the aura of vitality that surrounded a person. In Vedic teaching, it was called prana. In Scripture, it was the anointing, the invisible atmosphere that made kings and prophets glow with power. And though they used different words, they all pointed to this: your outer world bends to the atmosphere you carry. There is a parable of two merchants who opened shops on the same street. One fretted constantly, muttering, "Business is slow, times are hard." His customers felt his heaviness and stayed away. The other began each day by blessing his shop. This place overflows with prosperity. All who enter leave richer in spirit and goods. Though he had the same wares, his atmosphere drew customers like bees to honey. In time, one shop closed and the other flourished. The difference was not product, it was presence. This is the great secret. Your atmosphere is your silent prayer. You cannot fake it. You cannot decorate lack with fine words. The universe reads the energy beneath the mask, and it responds precisely. Pause here and reflect. What atmosphere do you carry daily? Do you walk in fear, whispering, "Not enough"? Do you radiate complaint, bitterness, envy? Or do you carry gratitude, confidence, joy? Look at your circumstances. They reveal your atmosphere. The truth is simple. If you want money to dwell with you, you must create an atmosphere where it feels at home. Just as a guest prefers a clean, warm room over a cold, hostile one, money prefers a field of welcome, not rejection. But how do you shift your atmosphere? First, by mastering your inner dialogue. What you say to yourself all day is the fragrance you carry. If your thoughts hum with fear, your atmosphere smells of lack. If they hum with gratitude, your atmosphere glows with abundance. Second, by mastering your emotions. Emotions are not enemies. They are currents. They charge the field around you. Joy expands the field. Fear contracts it. Gratitude brightens it. Resentment darkens it. You must become the alchemist of your emotions, choosing again and again to dwell in the higher frequencies. Third, by mastering your body. Do you slump as though defeated? Do you speak as though crushed? Then your atmosphere reflects defeat. Lift your shoulders. Walk as if abundance surrounds you. Speak as if wealth already listens. Your body is not separate. It broadcasts the frequency of your belief. There is another parable. A poor man visited a palace to ask for help. He entered with head bowed, words trembling, spirit broken. The king dismissed him without a second thought. Later, another man entered, not richer in possessions, but richer in presence. He spoke calmly, stood tall, radiated confidence. The king granted his request with joy. The first man begged, and his atmosphere repelled. The second man believed, and his atmosphere attracted. So it is with you. Money reads your presence before it reads your petition. Here is your sacred practice. Each morning, before stepping out, create your atmosphere. Stand in stillness. Breathe deeply. Imagine golden light pouring into you from above, filling your chest, radiating outward like a sun. See it expanding around you in a sphere of warmth and brilliance. Whisper aloud, "I walk in the atmosphere of wealth. Money flows easily to me. Abundance surrounds me now." Hold this vision until you feel it, until your posture shifts, until your energy glows. Then carry this field into the world. Do this daily, and you will see how others respond differently, how doors open, how money flows with less resistance. Understand this: wealth is not only a number, it is a presence. Some enter a room and opportunities chase them. Others enter and opportunities hide. The difference is not skill or chance. It is atmosphere. Even Scripture whispers of this mystery. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. Notice, the blessing comes through men, through others who feel your atmosphere and respond. Money rarely falls from the sky. It flows through relationships, through exchanges, through doors that open because your atmosphere invited them. There is another story. A young woman worked at a simple market stall. She had little to sell, yet she greeted every customer with warmth, treated each coin as sacred, filled her stall with laughter and blessing. People began to visit not for her wares, but for her presence. In time, her stall became the most prosperous in the market. Others sold more goods, but she sold more energy. Her atmosphere multiplied her wealth. So it must be with you. Stop asking only, "What must I do?" Ask also, "What atmosphere do I carry?" For the world does not reward action alone, it rewards presence. Money is energy. Energy follows atmosphere, and atmosphere is choice. Choose now. Radiate now. Carry the fragrance of wealth before wealth arrives, and it will arrive more quickly. Walk as though you already overflow, and soon you will. Chapter 13. The Shadow of Fear. Every light casts a shadow, and where wealth shines, fear often hides nearby. Fear is the silent thief of abundance. It creeps into the mind with whispers. What if it leaves? What if it is not enough? What if I fail? And though the river of wealth is endless, fear builds dams of illusion, making the current seem dry. Fear is not power. It is a mirage. Yet when you believe it, it becomes real to you, shaping your choices, closing your hands, shrinking your atmosphere. Fear is the shadow of lack, and lack is only the absence of recognition. To conquer fear is not to wrestle with it endlessly, but to shine a light so bright that the shadow dissolves. There is a parable of a traveler who carried a lantern at night. Each time he lifted the flame higher, shadows fled. When he lowered it, shadows stretched across his path. He realized the shadows were never real enemies, only the absence of light. So it is with fear. The cure is not struggle, it is light, and the greatest light is faith. Pause and consider, what fears surround money in your life? Do you fear it will leave? Do you fear you will misuse it? Do you fear others will judge you for having it? Each fear is only a shadow, reflecting a hidden belief, and belief, as we learned, can be changed. Fear creates cycles. A person fears losing money, so they clutch it tightly. Their clinging blocks the flow. The flow dries, confirming their fear. Another fears they will never have enough, so they speak lack daily. Their words echo into the mirror, and scarcity appears. Fear feeds itself, unless you break the circle. How do you break it? By naming it. Fear thrives in silence, unspoken, lurking, but when you name it aloud, it weakens. Say, "I fear money leaving." Then ask, "Is this true, or is this a shadow?" You will feel the lie tremble, for shadows cannot withstand scrutiny. There is another story. A woman inherited a large sum. Instead of joy, she was consumed by fear. She hid it, refused to use it, distrusted all offers. Her fear turned her inheritance into a prison. Another woman, with less, chose trust. She blessed each dollar, spent with faith, gave with joy. Her smaller sum grew into greater abundance. The first woman worshipped fear, the second walked in faith. Understand this. Money responds not only to gratitude and belief, but also to fear. Fear repels, faith attracts. Fear says, there is not enough. Faith says, there is always more. And the universe echoes whichever voice you choose. Even Scripture whispers this law. That which I feared has come upon me. Fear magnetizes lack as surely as gratitude magnetizes abundance. Both are seeds. The harvest depends on what you plant. Pause and ask yourself, what have I feared about money that keeps showing up? Trace it. See the pattern. Then choose to plant a new seed. Here is your sacred practice. Tonight, write down 3 fears you hold about money. Be honest. No fear is too small. Then, one by one, cross them out and replace each with a declaration of faith. For example, fear. Money leaves too quickly. Declaration. Money circulates and always returns multiplied. Fear. I never have enough. Declaration. I always live in overflow. And say, fear. Wealth will change me for the worse. Declaration. Wealth reveals my highest good. Speak these declarations aloud daily until the vibration feels stronger than the fear. This is not denial. It is replacement. Light always replaces shadow. There is another parable. A man stood at the edge of a cliff, trembling, convinced he would fall. A guide whispered, "Look not at the drop, but at the bridge." He lifted his eyes, saw the solid path before him, and crossed safely. Fear had blinded him to the bridge that was always there. So it is with money. Fear makes you stare at emptiness, forgetting the bridge of provision beneath your feet. The truth is simple. You are not sustained by money. You are sustained by Source. Money is only one channel of energy. Fear clings to the channel, forgetting the fountain. Faith looks to the fountain, knowing channels are endless. So tonight, release fear. Do not wrestle it, replace it. Shine faith so bright that shadows vanish. Money is energy. Energy reflects faith or fear, and you must choose which seed to plant. Chapter 14. The Generosity Key. There is a secret door that many seek but few dare to open. It is the door of generosity. Generosity is not about how much you give, it is about the spirit in which you give. It is not measured by numbers, but by energy. A single coin given in joy carries more power than a fortune given in fear. For generosity is the vibration of abundance itself, and money flows where generosity lives. Most people misunderstand this law. They think, when I have more, then I will give. But the law is reversed. You give first, then more arrives. For giving is the signal of trust, the proof that you believe in endless supply. To give even a little is to declare, I am not afraid. I know the river returns. And the river answers. Imagine a spring of water in the desert. One traveler cups his hands, drinks, and blesses it. Another tries to dam it, fearing it will run dry. The first receives refreshment day after day, for the spring continues to flow. The second watches his dam crumble, for water cannot be trapped. So it is with generosity. To give is to drink from the endless spring. To hoard is to fight the law. There is a parable of a widow who had but a handful of flour and a drop of oil. A prophet came and asked for bread. She hesitated but chose generosity. She baked the bread and shared. From that day, her jar of flour never emptied, her oil never ran dry. The act of giving unlocked the circle of abundance. Do you see? Generosity is not subtraction, it is multiplication. What leaves your hand does not vanish. It circulates, it returns, it expands. Pause here and ask, how do you give? Do you give reluctantly, fearing loss? Do you give resentfully, expecting return? Or do you give with joy, knowing the law multiplies all you release? Your answer reveals your frequency. Generosity is not only money, it is kindness, time, encouragement, presence. To give a smile when your heart is heavy is generosity. To speak blessing instead of complaint is generosity. To listen when another longs to be heard is generosity. Each act widens the circle. Each act calls abundance nearer. But there is a deeper mystery. Generosity does not only bless the receiver, it transforms the giver. When you give, you rise above fear. You step into the vibration of more than enough. Even if your hands hold little, your spirit declares abundance. That declaration reshapes reality. There is another story. A merchant walked the streets with two purses, one filled with gold, the other with seeds. Whenever he met a stranger, he gave from both purses. Over time, his gold returned multiplied, for his generosity attracted allies, and the seeds he planted grew into orchards that fed generations. His wealth was not in the purses, but in the flow of generosity that never ceased. Here is the key. Generosity must be intentional. To give carelessly, to throw away without blessing, is not generosity. It is waste. True generosity is conscious circulation. It blesses as it releases. It expects not from the receiver, but from the law. So, how do you practice this key? Begin where you are. Give not from guilt, but from joy. If you have $1, bless it as you give it. If you have a kind word, speak it with power. If you have time, offer it with presence. Each act proves to the universe, I trust the flow. And the universe always returns trust with multiplication. Here is your sacred practice. For the next 7 days, choose one act of generosity daily. It may be money, it may be time, it may be kindness. Before you give, hold it in your hand or heart and bless it. Say, I circulate this with love. It returns multiplied. Release it without attachment, without demand. Then watch how life begins to give back, often in forms unexpected. Generosity also shifts the inner atmosphere. When you give, you feel expansive, open, light. That vibration itself magnetizes wealth. Have you noticed how generous people seem radiant, magnetic? It is not only their deeds, it is their frequency. Generosity makes you glow, and money loves to dwell in light. Even Scripture whispers this law. The generous soul shall be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. This is not poetry alone, it is law. The one who blesses is blessed. The one who opens is opened. The one who circulates is multiplied. Pause and reflect. What have you withheld in fear? What have you clutched, thinking it was your last? What might happen if you released it with trust? There is another parable. A boy clutched a handful of seeds, afraid to plant them, lest he lose them. Another boy planted his seeds joyfully. The first boy had nothing but shriveled seeds. The second boy's field became golden with harvest. So it is with money. Seeds not planted feed no one. Wealth not circulated multiplies nothing. Understand this. Generosity is not about what leaves, it is about what flows. Each act of giving proves your faith in the endless river. Each act widens the channel of your abundance. Money is energy. Energy loves to circulate, and generosity is the key that keeps the circle alive. Chapter 15. The Temple of Alignment. Deep within you, beyond the noise of doubt and the chatter of fear, there is a temple. It is not built with stone, nor carved by human hands. It is the inner sanctuary where thought, feeling, and action unite as one. This temple is the seat of alignment, and alignment is the true source of wealth. Money, as energy, does not flow to scattered vibrations. It flows to harmony. When your thoughts declare one thing, your emotions another, and your actions yet another, the current scatters. You become like a harp with strings out of tune. No matter how passionately you play, the melody falters. But when thought, feeling, and action align, your life becomes an instrument in perfect pitch. Money, opportunities, and abundance gather to the sound. Alignment is the hidden law behind every manifestation. To think abundance while feeling lack is dissonance. To imagine wealth while speaking scarcity is contradiction. To desire prosperity while acting in fear is resistance. The universe does not reward scattered signals, it rewards coherence. There is a parable of 3 builders. One dreamed of a palace, yet spoke daily of ruin and worked carelessly. Another spoke grandly of success, yet feared each step, doubting his worth. Both built houses that crumbled. The third dreamed, spoke, and worked in harmony, aligning vision, word, and deed. His house stood firm, and others marveled at its beauty. The difference was not skill, it was alignment. Pause here and reflect. Where are you misaligned? Do you dream of wealth yet complain about lack? Do you affirm abundance yet fear to spend? Do you imagine success yet act as if failure is certain? Each contradiction weakens the current. To live in alignment is to unify your inner temple. Your thoughts become priests, speaking abundance. Your emotions become incense rising in joy. Your actions become offerings of trust. And the law, seeing harmony, responds with blessing. Even Scripture whispers of this truth. A house divided against itself cannot stand. The house is your consciousness. Divided thoughts, divided emotions, divided actions create collapse. But a house united cannot be shaken. Alignment is not perfection, it is consistency. You may falter, but return quickly. You may doubt, but speak faith. You may fear, but act with courage. Over time, the vibration settles into harmony. Here is another story. A farmer desired a harvest. He spoke daily of crops, yet planted no seed. Another planted seed, yet cursed the soil daily, fearing no rain. Both failed. A third planted with care, blessed the soil, trusted the rain, and worked with diligence. His harvest was plentiful. Why? Alignment, vision, word, and deed in harmony. This is the temple of alignment. Thought, word, feeling, and action all bowing to the same truth. I am abundant now. So how do you build this temple? Begin with awareness. Notice your contradictions. When you speak lack, stop and replace it with abundance. When you feel fear, breathe and recall your vision. When you act in hesitation, ask, does this align with my truth of wealth? Slowly, the pieces align. Here is your sacred practice. Each morning, write one affirmation of abundance. Speak it aloud until you feel emotion rise. Then, take one small action that matches it. For example, if you affirm, "I live in overflow," feel the joy of overflow. Then, give something away, even a small coin, as proof of overflow. Thought, feeling, and action united. This practice, repeated daily, builds the temple brick by brick. Understand this. Misalignment is the silent thief of wealth. Many study laws, practice affirmations, imagine vividly, but if their actions contradict their beliefs, the flow halts. To align is to unlock. There is another parable. A king instructed his builders to construct a bridge. One laid stones carefully, but doubted the project would ever finish. Another believed in success, but built with laziness. Both failed. But one builder believed, worked, and spoke as if the bridge already stood, and in time it did. The universe is the same. It does not judge effort or words alone. It measures harmony. Pause once more. Imagine yourself as the temple. See your thoughts, emotions, and actions as priests within. Are they arguing, contradicting, divided? Or do they stand united, chanting the same hymn of abundance? To unite them is to create the most powerful frequency the universe cannot ignore. Money is energy. Energy loves alignment. Alignment is the temple where abundance dwells. Conclusion: the eternal current. The journey we have walked together has been more than words. It has been a remembering. For what you have heard in these chapters is not new. It is ancient. It has whispered through temples and scriptures, through prophets and poets, through sages and dreamers. And now it has whispered to you, money is energy. You began at the river's edge, where unseen currents move beneath your feet. You learned that wealth is not distant, but flowing already, waiting for your recognition. You walked through fields of frequency, discovering that money vibrates in harmony with your belief. You gazed into the mirror, realizing that money reflects not what you want, but what you hold within. You learned the sacred law of circulation, that what flows out must return, that giving and receiving are one circle. You stepped into imagination, the gate through which wealth is born. You learned the secret of worthiness, that abundance is not earned but accepted as your birthright. You explored gratitude, generosity, alignment, and the atmosphere you carry. You faced the shadow of fear and dissolved it with faith. You discovered the key of generosity and the temple of alignment, where thought, word, and action unite as one. Each chapter has not been a lesson to study, but a door to walk through. And as you have walked, you have felt the shift. Perhaps subtle, perhaps deep, but something within you has stirred. You are not the same as when you began. Now, here at the conclusion, the truth crystallizes. Money is not paper, not coins, not numbers on a screen. It is the pulse of life itself, the breath of exchange, the current of trust. It is neither master nor servant, neither good nor evil. It is reflection, vibration, flow. It is energy, and energy is infinite. Pause now, breathe deeply, feel your own heartbeat. Each beat is proof of abundance. Each inhale, each exhale, a circulation. Life has never withheld from you. The sun has never failed to rise. The air has never failed to return. The rivers of energy are endless, and you are part of them. So why fear? Why doubt? Why cling? Release the old lies that money is scarce, that you are unworthy, that abundance belongs to others. They were shadows. They were spells spoken by those who forgot. You remember now. The circle is open before you. From this moment, choose to walk as one aligned with wealth. Bless what you have. Bless what leaves. Bless what arrives. Speak the language of abundance. Feel gratitude for even the smallest stream. Imagine boldly, believe deeply, and act in harmony with your truth. This is alignment. This is wealth. There is a parable told of a man who traveled long across deserts and mountains, searching for treasure. He grew weary until one night he dreamed of a fountain buried beneath his own home. He returned, dug beneath his floor, and found the water flowing there all along. So it is with you. The treasure you sought was never far. It was beneath your own feet, within your own heart, flowing as energy through every breath. And now, as you step back into the world, remember, the universe responds not to begging, but to resonance. Do not chase money. Do not plead for wealth. Become the frequency. Live in gratitude. Walk in worthiness. Radiate generosity. Align thought, word, and action. Carry the atmosphere of abundance, and the current will rush to you because it recognizes itself in you. You are no longer a beggar at the gates. You are no longer lost in fear. You are a channel of infinite energy, a vessel of abundance, a temple where wealth dwells. You are the river, you are the field. You are the mirror. This is the eternal current. Money is energy. Energy is abundance. Abundance is who you are. Pause once more. Place your hand on your heart. Whisper aloud, I am wealth. I am abundance. I am the energy that creates worlds. Feel it rise in you. Feel the circle close. Know that from this day forward, you will never again walk as one in lack, but as one in flow. The journey does not end here. This is only the beginning of a new way of being. Each moment is another chapter, each choice another affirmation, each breath another circulation of wealth. The current never stops, and now you know how to walk with it. Money is energy, and energy is infinite. If this journey has awakened something within you, let it ripple outward. Like this video, not for numbers but to strengthen the current. Leave a comment, sharing what truth resonated most with you. Your words may be the seed that awakens another. And subscribe so you may return again and again to this circle of light where sacred teachings flow freely. Walk in abundance. Live as wealth. The current flows through you always.